Dear brothers and sisters, beloved children of history and seekers of truth, imagine with me for a moment two titans of the ancient world, Rome and Sparta, standing like mighty pillars under the gaze of eternity. Their names echo through time: Rome, the eternal city whose roads stretched across continents; Sparta, the unconquered, whose warriors were forged in the fires of discipline and sacrifice. We envision their armies clashing, swords flashing under a crimson sky, a battle to shake the foundations of the earth. Yet, I stand before you today to share a truth both humbling and profound: these two giants never crossed swords. Why, you may ask? Why did such formidable powers, whose legacies still stir our hearts, never meet in the crucible of war? Come, let us walk together through the corridors of time, guided by wisdom and faith, to uncover the divine tapestry of history that kept them apart, and in doing so, reveal lessons for our own lives today. In the beginning, let us consider the seasons of history, for just as the book of Ecclesiastes reminds us, to everything there is a season, a time for every purpose under heaven. Eccle 3:1. Rome and Sparta, though they shared the same ancient world, bloomed in different seasons of God's creation. Sparta rose to its zenith in the 5th century before Christ, a time when its warriors stood resolute at Thermopylae, defying the Persian tide with courage that still inspires us. These were the days of the Peloponnesian War, when Sparta's iron discipline brought even mighty Athens to its knees. Picture their phalanxes, shields locked, moving as one, a testament to unity and purpose. Yet, in those days, Rome was but a humble city-state nestled in the heart of Italy, struggling against neighboring tribes, the Etruscans, the Sabines, the Samnites. Rome was not yet the eagle soaring over the Mediterranean. It was a fledgling, learning to spread its wings. The seasons of their greatness did not align, and in this we see a truth: even the mightiest are bound by the time appointed to them by the Creator. As we journey further, let us reflect on the rise of Rome, a city destined to carry the light of civilization across the world. By the 3rd and 2nd centuries before Christ, Rome's star began to ascend. Its legions marched, its borders expanded, and its gaze turned toward Greece. But what of Sparta in this hour? The Sparta of Leonidas, of Lycurgus, had faded like a rose past its bloom. Once Sparta's name was synonymous with strength, its citizens trained from birth to embody sacrifice and duty. Yet, after its triumph over Athens in 404 BC, cracks appeared in its foundation. The rigid system of the Spartiates, a warrior elite ruling over a vast underclass of helots, began to falter. Wars drained their numbers, and defeats, such as at Leuctra in 371 BC against Thebes, humbled their pride. By the time Rome's shadow fell upon Greece, Sparta was no longer a lion roaring but a lion sleeping, revered for its past but no longer feared. In this, we find a lesson: even the strongest among us must adapt and renew, lest we cling to glories that can no longer sustain us. Now, let us ponder why Rome and Sparta never became foes. It was not merely a matter of time but of purpose. Rome, as it grew, did not see Sparta as a rival to be vanquished but as a relic to be honored. The Romans, though warriors, were also students of wisdom. They looked to Greece, not just to Sparta but to Athens, to Corinth, with awe, for Greece was the cradle of philosophy, art, and virtue. As the Apostle Paul would later write, Greeks seek wisdom, 1 Cor 1:22, and Rome, in its conquests, sought to inherit that wisdom. Sparta's austerity, its devotion to duty, its disdain for luxury, these were virtues the Romans cherished, seeing in them a mirror of their own ideals. The Roman Senate admired the Spartan spirit, much as we admire the saints who lived simply for God. Thus, Rome did not march on Sparta with legions drawn but with respect, recognizing a city whose legend outshone its present strength. Here lies a teaching for us: to honor the good in others even when their power has waned is to build bridges rather than walls. Let us now turn our hearts to the moment when Rome and Sparta finally met, not in the clash of steel, but in the quiet dance of diplomacy and respect. By the 2nd century before Christ, Rome had become a colossus, its legions victorious over Carthage and Macedonia, its influence spreading like the dawn across the Mediterranean. Greece, once a constellation of proud city-states, now faced the reality of Roman power. Yet, Sparta, though diminished, remained a city apart, clinging to its independence with the stubborn pride of its ancestors. The Achaean League, a coalition of Peloponnesian cities, sought to unify Greece under its banner, but Sparta resisted, unwilling to bend its knee to any alliance. This tension, dear friends, set the stage for Rome's intervention. In 146 BC, the Achaean League rose against Rome, and the consequences were swift and severe. Corinth, a proud city, was razed by the Roman general Lucius Mummius, a warning to all who would defy the eagle. But Sparta? Sparta was spared. Rome, in its wisdom, recognized Sparta's desire for autonomy and granted it, not as a conquered foe, but as a city worthy of respect. In this, we see a reflection of the Gospel's call, "Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called children of God," Matt 5:9. Rome chose peace over punishment, and in doing so, honored Sparta's legacy. As we deepen our reflection, let us consider the paradox of Sparta's survival. The city of warriors, famed for its defiance, endured not through the strength of its spears, but through the power of its myth. Sparta's name carried a weight that its armies no longer could. To the Romans, Sparta was a living monument, a testament to virtues they sought to emulate: discipline, sacrifice, and loyalty to the state. Roman senators, educated in the works of Greek poets and philosophers, saw in Sparta a model of the mos maiorum, the ancestral customs that defined Roman virtue. Even as Rome built its empire, it looked to Sparta's past with reverence, much as we look to the lives of the saints for inspiration. Yet, this reverence came with a cost. Sparta, preserved as a symbol, was no longer a power in its own right. It stood under Rome's shadow, its autonomy a gift rather than a right. Here lies a lesson for us all. To be remembered for our virtues is a grace, but to live fully in the present requires us to adapt, to grow, and to embrace the challenges of our time with courage and humility. Now, let us imagine a different world, one where Rome and Sparta did meet in battle, their strengths pitted against one another in a contest for the ages. Picture Sparta at its peak in the 5th century before Christ, its hoplites standing as an unbreakable wall, trained from childhood in the agoge to fear neither pain nor death. Their phalanx, a marvel of unity, was a force that humbled empires. Then envision Rome at its height, in the 2nd century before Christ, its legions disciplined yet flexible, capable of adapting to any foe: Celts, Iberians, Macedonians. The Roman legion, with its maniples and cohorts, could maneuver on rugged terrain, strike swiftly, and endure wars that spanned decades. If these two giants had clashed, what would have unfolded? In a single battle on ground suited to the phalanx, Sparta might have triumphed, its warriors' resolve breaking the Roman line. But in a prolonged war, Rome's vast resources, its ability to replace losses, and its relentless strategy would likely have prevailed. Sparta, with its small citizenry, could not afford heavy losses. Rome could. Yet, even in defeat, Sparta's spirit would have endured, much like the mustard seed that, though small, grows into a mighty tree. Matt 13:31-32. This imagined clash teaches us that true strength lies not only in might but in resilience, in the ability to rise again after every fall. As we near the end of our journey, let us reflect on the deeper bond between Rome and Sparta, a bond not of swords but of shared ideals that echo across time. Though they never met in battle, these two civilizations were like brothers, separated by centuries yet united by a common spirit. Sparta, with its unyielding devotion to duty, its austere laws crafted by the legendary Lycurgus, embodied a vision of the state above the self. Rome, with its mos maiorum, the sacred traditions of its ancestors, shared this vision, placing the Republic and later the Empire above individual desires. Both peoples lived for something greater, Sparta for its city, Rome for its destiny. The Roman legions, though they did not copy Sparta's phalanx, carried forward its spirit of discipline, training relentlessly to serve the common good. Even Roman writers like Plutarch wove Sparta's stories into the fabric of Roman culture, immortalizing Leonidas and his 300 as symbols of courage. In this, we see a truth that resonates with our faith: we are members one of another. F 425. Rome and Sparta, though distinct, were part of a greater whole, their virtues shaping the world that would receive the light of Christ. Their legacy reminds us that we, too, are called to live for others, to build communities rooted in sacrifice and love. And so, dear friends, we come to the heart of our story, the lesson that Rome and Sparta offer us today. Their paths never crossed in war, not because of chance, but because of a divine rhythm in history, a rhythm that teaches us humility and hope. Sparta, in its glory, showed us the power of discipline and unity, yet in its decline, it reminds us that all earthly powers are fleeting. Rome, in its rise, showed us the strength of adaptation and vision, yet in its reverence for Sparta, it teaches us to honor the past while embracing the future. Together, they point us toward a greater truth, that our lives, like theirs, are part of God's eternal plan. As the psalmist sings, the Lord has made everything for its purpose, PS 104:24. Rome and Sparta, though they never clashed, were woven into the same tapestry, their stories intertwined to inspire us. They call us to live with courage, to serve with discipline, and to approach others with respect, even when our paths diverge. Above all, they urge us to trust in the one who guides all history, who turns even the mightiest empires into instruments of his grace. So, brothers and sisters, as we leave this tale of Rome and Sparta, let us carry their lessons in our hearts. Let us be like the Spartans, steadfast in our commitment to what is good, yet like the Romans, open to the new paths God sets before us. Let us honor the past, not as a chain that binds us, but as a light that guides us. And let us walk together as pilgrims of hope, knowing that our true home lies not in the cities of this world, but in the kingdom that endures forever. May the courage of Leonidas, the wisdom of Rome, and the love of Christ inspire us to live fully, to love deeply, and to trust in the God who holds all time in his hands. Amen.